Hello and welcome to Defence Line, a weekly program on defence, security and more. In this episode of Defence Line, we discuss an unusual issue, the age controversy relating to the Chief of Army Staff, General V.K. Singh. Was he born in May 1950 or in May 1951? This not only has a bearing on the length of his tenure, but also on his successor when he retires. To discuss this, we have in our studios Lieutenant General J.L. Malhotra, former Chief of Staff of a command, Major General C.S. Panag, former Chief of Staff of a corps, and Rajiv Anand, an advocate practicing in the Punjab and Haryana High Court. Welcome to the studio, gentlemen. But before we get into the discussion, let us look at what the issue is.
Age is an issue of mind over matter. If you don't mind, it does not matter. The Mark Twain one-liner is bouncing between the Army headquarters and the Raksha Mantralaya ever since a row over Army Chief General V.K. Singh's date of birth was resurrected in April. Army's Military Secretary branch records show that General V.K. Singh was born on May 10, 1950. However, the Adjutant General's branch, which deals with pensions, records the date of birth as May 10, 1951. When General Singh was made the chief, his date of birth was recorded as May 10, 1950. In this case, he will have to retire in June 2012. If the date of birth is changed to 1951, he gets an additional 10 months in his tenure. When the matter was referred to the Law Ministry, it said that it should be taken as May 10, 1951. Attorney General G.E. Vahanvati, in his opinion, advised against changing the date of birth. The latest opinions are from two retired Chief Justices of the Supreme Court. Justices J.S. Verma and G.B. Patnaik have proffered the opinion that General Singh was born on May 10, 1951. But then, is this change required at this stage? General Singh is not the only one who is affected by this whole episode. If he retires in June 2012, the current Eastern Army Commander Lieutenant General Bikram Singh would be next in line for the Chief's post. If his tenure is extended till March 2013, the next in line would be Lieutenant General K.T. Patnaik, the current Northern Army Commander, since Lieutenant General Bikram Singh would have retired by then. General V.K. Singh's age matters, and the ministry is still to make up its mind.
We will be in conversation with General Malhotra, General Panag and Rajiv Anand. General Panag, I'll start with you. In Army headquarters official records, the Army Chief General V.K. Singh, his age is shown differently. In the AG branch, it is shown as 1951, and in the MS branch, it is shown as 1950. Which one should hold in your opinion?
In my opinion, the AG branch should be the date which is held. AG branch has two documents from which the age of individual can be deduced. One is a school leaving certificate or matriculation certificate, university certificate, and second is the form which he fills when he applies for the for commission, either through NDA or through IMA. So the AG branch should have one document, and the MS branch takes the AG branch documents and puts them on record. Somehow an anomaly has come in, and in my opinion the AG branch should be the record date for the individual.
But why do you think this anomaly continued not for 1 year, 10 years, 20 years, for nearly 40 years now?
Don't ask me. The main thing is that somewhere along somebody has faltered. The officers normally don't bother about the age till they come into senior ranks, and then they start comparing their age with their compatriots, because it is all age related when you reach higher ranks.
But why do you say the AG branch opinion should prevail and not the MS branch? Because it is basically the MS branch which is in charge of postings and transfers.
The basic documents of recruitment are with the AG branch. MS branch is supposed to take their data from the AG branch onwards, and therefore in my opinion the AG branch documents should prevail.
General Malhotra, how do you think this anomaly continued for, as we said, nearly 40 years? You've been in the MS branch, you were the Deputy Secretary, Military Secretary B, which is actually looking into the age matters there.
You see, as far as the date of birth of an officer is concerned, the MS branch does not interfere with that. Whatever is the date of birth given at the time of recruitment, that carries on in his dossier. The MS branch, say Deputy MSB, since I was dealing with that, he comes into the picture only when somebody approaches MS branch, that look, my date of birth in record is this, but actually it is this. That is somebody wanting a change in the date of birth.
But in your opinion, now since there is a problem, whose opinion should prevail, the AG branch opinion or the MS branch?
I think whatever date of birth was given at the time of recruitment, I think it should hold, and that is the AG's branch.
Rajiv, what is your opinion? As a lawyer, you've been dealing with a lot of army cases. Which opinion should prevail, the AG branch or the MS branch?
No, here the case is the officer is having, General Singh is having irrefutable proof of his age by way of the education certificate that he is holding, where the date of birth is shown as 10th of May 1951. There is no other conflicting document as such issued by a competent authority which says otherwise. So having his declaration to the effect that date of birth was 1950 in conflict with the document that is issued by a competent authority, that is the school certificate by the board, that board certificate should hold good, because there is no refutable document that has till date come on record to refute that.
But Rajiv, we do not know the circumstance in which the school leaving certificate has been procured. No, and here in this case the army list, which is updated every year, which very clearly mentions his date of birth as May 10, 1950. And this is continued for the last 40 years.
But till date, no question has arisen against that education certificate also. So when there is no question to that, then that's an issue by a competent authority, and there is a specific column in that certificate which specifies the date of birth. So if we go by these documents which the army authorities are having in their custody, these documents only declare or fill the date of birth on basis of these documents or declarations. So these documents are authenticated by the authorities which are issuing it. Either we challenge that document that that's not a correct document, or it's a false or forged document. Unless we say that the document holds good.
But yes, in the army list, there is a very clear, in some cases an asterisk is marked, and that wherever there is an issue, this says that the date of birth not verified in audit. But in General VK Singh's case, there was no such asterisk, and it is very clearly mentioned that his date of birth is 10th May 1950, and it has continued since his date of commission, which is June 1950.
No, that too, here also the conflict was between two branches within the army itself.
No, which came subsequently.
Yes,
but for almost 36 years, the date of birth mentioned in the army list went unchallenged.
Yes, that is, here also there is a problem which is against General Singh, because here the law says one who's been going along with that list for so many years, he is stopped by law. One cannot take benefit of his own wrong at a later stage coming at that. Here, when on one side, on document side, the position is very strong in his favor, but if we see the interpretation of law, then the position is otherwise. He is stopped by law. Follow otherwise.
Right, General Malhotra.
For a child born to an army officer, as is the case of General Singh, his father was an army officer at that time, there are two more certificates. One, where he is born, he would be either in an army hospital, which issues a certificate, or in a nursing home, which also issues a certificate. Secondly, any child born to an officer, there is a Part 2 order issued. I wonder if these two have been taken into consideration.
Very interesting. I think you raised a very interesting point. I mean, I wish these documents were actually accessed, and I think it would have cleared the matter once and for all times. Mr. Anand, there is another issue that you can get the correction made if you think your date of birth has been recorded wrongly within 2 years of entering service. Now, in his case, he was commissioned in June 1970. So till June 1972, he could have got a correction made. If that correction was not made then or within 2 years, why now?
Yes, law prescribes that any such correction is to be made without any unreasonable delay. And secondly, as I have just said, law stops you. Once you have crossed, General Singh in this case has crossed lot of career progression and promotions in his service career, and based on these army lists, things have been going on till last 36 years. So law here prescribes an estoppel against such action at a later stage when age and specifically the date of birth, which he is trying to include, really matters. Then law stops him in that case.
So by that yardstick, his date of birth should be May 10, 1950?
Yes, but that yardstick it should be 1950.
General Panag, the former Judge Advocate General, Major General Nalinder Kumar, has also very clearly mentioned that if you have to have a change made, it can only be made in the first 2 years and not after 36 years or 40 years. What do you say to that?
Well, there are a lot of rules like this, and there have been exceptions earlier also. People have they have taken up a case at a much later date and got the army headquarters to change their date of birth.
Which were these exceptions? Yes, General.
I'm afraid army headquarters doesn't change that, because I was dealing with this case.
Yes.
Anybody approaching, let's say, I know of a case in 85, 86, a brigadier, that is the first case I know of, no name. He approached us and I mean, we rejected every case. So the only way people could get the change made was through courts.
So, General Panag, a change cannot be made after 2 years.
In fact, there was another officer who came at that time. He was a colonel. Later on, he retired as a lieutenant general, and again he got the change made through courts almost on the last day of his retirement. But it is through army headquarters didn't change anybody. I mean, that's what my information is.
So, which is the precedent that you talk about?
No, I'm sorry. What I agree there, army headquarters probably wouldn't change. But I'm saying that people have got it changed whether through the courts or this way.
Yeah.
So that way it is. I meant that way. I have no specific case where the army headquarters has changed it.
General Malhotra, a lot of people are even attributing motives to the present controversy. They say that just because General V.K. Singh had gone against some people who were accused of corruption, they are referring to the Sukna land acquisition case, they are referring to the Adarsh housing so-called scam in Mumbai. Do you buy that argument?
You see, there, it is just your and my assessment. There can be two kinds of people who are interested in this. One, as you quite rightly said, somebody want to malign the image of the chief, because you know the moment chief's age,
the image, and also want to send him home early, perhaps.
That doesn't. I think image is more important.
General Malhotra, that controversy has been going on for almost about 4 years now.
So one is that. The other is some people who are interested in the chain of command changing, because if the date of birth changes, then the chain of command. It's not only currently who's number 3. It is a lot of people below that.
Yes, there is going to be a change in the chain of command, and we are going to talk about that once we come back from the break. Here we will take a short break. When we return, we continue our discussion on how young or how old the army chief is.